Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Cowboys Tyron Smith, named Best Fit for Super Bowl favorite. Tyron Smith is currently the longest tenured player on the Dallas Cowboys roster, but he could be on the cusp of changing zip codes when free agency begins. Smith, 33, remains one of the more consistent offensive tackles in the sport, and according to Pro Football Focus, surrendered just one sack in 847 snaps during a stellar 2023 campaign. That level of consistent dominance will make Smith one of the most coveted free agents, should the Cowboys fail to re-sign him prior to the new league year beginning on March 13. Even after winning 2 consecutive Super Bowls, the Kansas City Chiefs have struggled to protect Super Bowl MVP quarterback Patrick Mahomes' blindside, so ESPN projects the reigning champs as Smith's best fit this offseason. The availability concerns for Smith are real, Matt Bowen writes for ESPN. He has missed 33 games over the past 4 seasons with the Cowboys. But when healthy, Smith is a detailed technician with the physical demeanor to win on the edge. And he would absolutely upgrade the left tackle position for the Chiefs, limiting pass rushers and keeping the throwing platform clean for quarterback Patrick Mahomes. This past season, Chiefs left tackle Donovan Smith won his second Super Bowl ring but allowed 2 sacks and 42 total pressures, as Pro Football Focus points out. If Chiefs general manager Brett Veach is looking for a veteran anchor along the offensive line, luring Smith away from the Cowboys could be high on Kansas City's offseason to-do list. General manager Brett Veach and the Chiefs have not shied away from spending big money on veteran offensive tackles in recent seasons, even if on short-term deals. Donovan Smith's deal signed on May 10, 2023, was a 1-year pact worth $3 million, and it came on the heels of spending $20.04 million over 2 years on veteran tackle Orlando Brown. Spending big on Tyron Smith fits the profile of how the Chiefs have addressed the offensive tackle position under Veach. As Spotrac points out, Smith could command a 1-year deal worth upwards of $7.4 million for the 2024 season, which would make him the 18th highest-paid left tackle in the NFL. Given that the Chiefs are currently projected to have $15.2 million in cap space before restructuring any veteran contracts or moving on from high-priced players, a deal akin to Smith's projection is much easier to accommodate under the cap for Kansas City compared to the Cowboys, who find themselves $19.7 million over the cap. Whether the Cowboys can find a way to sign quarterback Dak Prescott to a long-term extension, to lower his cap number, extend dynamic wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and figure out keeping Smith is a priority remains to be seen. Especially given the dire salary cap straits Jerry Jones must work through this offseason. However, it sounds like Smith has no intention to retire this offseason, and would prefer to finish his career in a Cowboys uniform. Tyron Smith, the longest tenured player on the Cowboys, wants to play another season with the team, a person familiar with his thinking told the Dallas Morning News, Watkins said. Smith, 33, becomes an unrestricted free agent this spring and there is uncertainty about a return. Tyron Smith wants to remain with Cowboys. Tyron Smith has been a mainstay on the Cowboys' offensive line since 2011. His time with the franchise is in danger of coming to an end this spring, but that will not be the case if he has his way. Smith is aiming to play one more season as a Cowboy, Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News reports. The 33-year-old is a pending free agent, although the restructured pact he agreed to last March will leave the team with a $6 million dead cap charge in 2024 even if he departs. Smith's desire to remain in place will lead to an interesting decision on the team's part given his injury history. The 2010s All-Decade member has not played a full season since 2015. A number of ailments have led to missed time since then, including those which limited him to a combined total of 6 games in 2020 and 22. Smith rebounded this past year by seeing the field for 13 games, all of which came at his familiar left tackle spot. That came after off-season indications pointed to the 8-time Pro Bowler remaining at right tackle, where he played upon his return to the lineup in 2022. Dallas used a first-round pick on Tyler Smith in 2022 with the intention of using him at guard before succeeding Tyron Smith on the blind side. The latter's torn hamstring accelerated that plan, but his return to pre-injury form in 2023 allowed Tyler Smith to slide back inside. Tyron Smith graded out as PFF's fourth-best defensive tackle last season, in large part due to a league-best mark of 89.3 in pass protection. Given his performance, the two-time All-Pro could be a logical candidate for a much shorter pact than the 8-year one he inked in 2014. On the other hand, the Cowboys need to prepare a plan to transition to younger options, with respect to Smith and right guard Zach Martin. The latter is under contract for one more year with a guaranteed salary of $18 million and a $28.5 million cap hit. Dallas also has starting center Tyler Baiadas set to hit free agency, so retaining him would use up resources, which could otherwise be given to Smith. With the Cowboys or another team, the latter nevertheless intends to play in 2024. Insider reveals why Dak Prescott Cowboys negotiations could be complicated. Dak Prescott's future with the Dallas Cowboys, and how the organization finds creative ways to free up cap space to secure several star players are two of the biggest storylines of this NFL offseason. Prescott is set to count $59 million against the cap in 2024. But the Cowboys must find a way to trim at least $19.7 million in cap space before the new league year begins on March 13, simply to be cap compliant when free agency gets underway. According to a report from Mike Fisher of Cowboys Country, the Cowboys and Prescott are set to begin negotiations on a new contract that would lower the star quarterback's cap number and keep him in Dallas for the foreseeable future. Lowering Prescott's cap number is a top priority for the Cowboys. But as Fisher points out, Dallas needs might not align with what the 30-year-old with just 2 playoff wins has in mind for his next deal. Is Dak worth the same as top-paid QBs Joe Burrow, $55 million APY, and Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert, $52 million APY? Fisher writes. That's not really the point. This negotiation is going to be about the cost of doing star QB business, and whether Dallas chooses to do it long-term. Prescott is coming off the best statistical season of his career, which gives him significant leverage in this round of contract talks. En route to leading the Cowboys to the NFC East Division Championship, Prescott completed a career-high 69.5% of his passes for 4,516 yards with 36 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions. However, the Cowboys are going to have many high-priced mouths to feed, with limited financial resources to do so this offseason. As ESPN's Jeremy Fowler points out, Prescott's negotiations are just one piece of a complicated puzzle for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. It took years for Prescott and Dallas to lock in a deal the first time, in 2021, Fowler writes. So, don't expect a swift resolution, especially with Prescott coming off his best statistical season. And if that's not enough, CeeDee Lamb is due a new contract that could make him the league's highest-paid receiver, or close to it. Linebacker Micah Parsons will need to be paid soon enough. Lamb has quickly developed into one of Prescott's most important weapons, and one of the most prolific wide receivers in the NFL, which makes keeping him in a Cowboys uniform a top priority. As if 1,749 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns didn't show Lamb's value to the Cowboys' success on offense, Prescott produced a whopping 125.7 passer rating on Lamb's 179 targets, according to Pro Football Focus. Spotrac projects Lamb's new deal to make him the second highest-paid wide receiver in the league, on a 4-year deal worth $115.43 million, averaging approximately $28.8 million annually. Between Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons, the Cowboys may need to break the bank to keep their most important players in place. There's little getting around the fact that an extension for Prescott is nearly guaranteed to make him one of the NFL's highest-paid quarterbacks. Spotrac projects a new Prescott extension to fall somewhere in the area of $50.8 million annually, coming in at $203.2 million, making him the 5th highest-paid quarterback in the league. However, should Dallas and Prescott fail to come to an accord before the new league year gets underway, Jones and the Cowboys have other options to lower his cap number for 2024. Spotrac points out that the Cowboys could lower Prescott's base salary significantly in order to free up spending flexibility elsewhere. This involves lowering his $29 million base salary down to a league minimum $1.21 million, Michael Giannitti writes. Converting the remaining $27.79 million plus his $5 million roster bonus into a signing bonus. The move results in a cap decrease from $59.455 million down to $33.223 million, a savings of $26.2 million for the upcoming season. 2024's pleasure becomes 2025's pain, however, as the dead cap hit waiting when the contract voids has now increased to $62.7 million, nearly 25% of the projected salary cap. Since the salary cap is expected to balloon in 2025, potentially as high as $260 million, a conversion could wind up being the Cowboys' break-the-glass scenario for Prescott this offseason. And you fan, what do you think of the Dak Prescott situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.